All right, so let's look at angles of triangles. In a triangle, we have some specific angles, and some of them are on the interior of a triangle and some of them are on the exterior of a triangle. So the inside obviously is the triangle, and the interior angles that we're talking about are on the inside. So these three angles are on the inside, so those are called interior angles. And then when we're referring to exterior angles, got to be very specific. It's got to be an angle that's against or next to the triangle. So it's going to be, this is an exterior angle, this one, this one, this one, this one. So all of these are considered exterior angles. Notice I did not consider this one here or this one. So exterior. The exterior angles are specifically the ones that are right outside of the side of the triangle, not the one that's vertical to the angle. So why is it important? Well, there's a key idea that when you're trying to find one of the exterior angles, you're going to have to understand the interior angles and vice versa. So a key idea is to consider the fact that all of the angles in a triangle will add up to be 180. So let's draw a triangle. And if we call this X degrees, Y degrees, and Z. And we would say that when you add X, Y, and Z, the sum of all three angles will always be 180 degrees. All right, so that's one key idea. And we use this idea when we're trying to find a missing angle. So first example, say I want to find angle B. So I'm going to create a triangle, and I'm going to call this 30 degrees. This one will be 70. And I want to know B. B is how many degrees? So we know that all three angles have to be equal to 180. So I'm going to say that angle 30 plus angle 70 plus angle B should equal 180. So then this makes 100 together plus angle B is going to be 180, and which leaves me with B equals 80 degrees. All right, so you pretty much just have to subtract if you want. Know that it's 180, get what you have so far, subtract these two, and then you have the remaining angle B. All right, so I want to show you the relationship of these angles and give you a little bit of a better visual. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how these three angles visually add up to 180. So I'm going to call this angle A, call this one angle B, and we'll call this one angle C. Oops. Now, I'm going to cut off those angles and show you what happens when you combine those angles together, which will represent the sum of the three angles. And so I take these three angles, which came from that original triangle, and I'm going to put A, B, and C together. And you see that you get this straight angle at the bottom. So angle A, angle B, plus angle C together creates that 180 degree straight angle at the bottom. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you what happens when you have that exterior angle that we were referring to earlier. I want to know what this exterior angle is here. So I know that A plus another angle or angles should complete a 180 straight angle. And I know that these three angles also complete a 180 in the triangle. So take the C and the measurement of angle B, and it will fill in the space which is the exterior angle. All right, so we would just say that the exterior angle is going to equal that other two on the farther ends, which would have been B and C. Now A is irrelevant because A is going to be part of the triangle, and A is also part of the straight angle. So we're gonna have a double usage of A in this particular diagram. Right, so before I get to the next key idea, I want to review some concepts with you that are going to be crucial to the next key idea. This angle is 180 degrees, and we call this angle a straight angle because it swings from here all the way to here or vice versa, and it creates a straight line at the base. And we could have as many angles, doesn't matter, as long as all of them together create that straight angle, they would all sum up to 180. So we're going to just call this angle A, B, and C. So I have these three angles, angle A, angle B, and angle C. So I know that angle A plus B plus C is going to equal 180. And then I also have a concept of 180 on a triangle. We just went over this. I have three angles in a triangle, and I'll call this angle A, B, and C. And the idea here is the same. If you add angle A with B and C, you get 180 degrees. So these two concepts are very similar, which really means that if I were to cut B off, cut off angle A, and cut off angle C, these three pieces would lie perfectly on this straight line. So we're going to imagine that angle C lands here. When I cut off angle B, it will land in the center. And when I cut off angle A, it will land in this section. So these three angles, when you combine them together, will indeed create a straight angle, which is 180, which is expected because it equals 180. So that is going to be the key idea for our next fact. If you have an angle, and here again we have a straight angle and we have a triangle in the same figure, and I have angle A, B, C, and I'm going to just call this angle Z. Let's call it angle W. So I want to find angle W, okay? So the idea is as follows. Angle W will be equal to A and B. Now why is that? Because if I already have angle C here on this straight angle, I know that's 180. So if I have C, the only two angles missing are A and B. And A and B together will indeed fill in this space where the W angle is. So we can say that W will be the same as adding A and B together. And again, A and B with C make 180, and A and B here with C make this 180. Okay, so let's use that concept for the next figure. I'm sorry, for the next example. So example 2. So if this is 36 degrees and this is 72 degrees, how big is my exterior angle X? So here we have an exterior angle. I know that I created 180 degrees with these three angles, and I also know I have 180 degrees here. So this angle, which is a blank angle, plus these two is 180, and that same angle plus which other two equal 180, and it's going to be these two. That's the concept we have up here. So x is going to equal 36 degrees plus 72 degrees, and so therefore x will equal 108.